Hello, my name is Tim Bernard, and I'm doing a special report on the locutions that Father Gobbi received from our mother from 1973 until 1998. And it pretty much lays out the whole plan in one place where you can find the bulk of the stuff. This is what the book looks like. It's about 1,000 pages long. You can find it probably not in any bookstore, but if you look up Marian Movement of Priests, you can find it. Their U.S. headquarters is in St. Francis, Maine. That's up in the northeast corner of the country. And this first reading, I'm just going to start with a few readings from the Bible, some quick explanations, and just a little bit of some readings. And then on a regular basis I plan on just taking one reading, reading it, and giving some commentary on it. But first, from Genesis, we have I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will strike at your head, while you strike at his heel. No other woman is spoken of in the Old Testament like the Virgin Mary. In prophecy, that was actually fulfilled. And this is the great prophecy from Isaiah. The Lord himself will give you a sign. The virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and shall name him Emmanuel. And so it came to pass. There's another beautiful, well, there's tons. Isaiah is such a beautiful book, probably one of my favorite in the Old Testament. Let's just read a couple more verses which pertain to the times and what is going on and who is really in charge. Turn to me and be safe, all you ends of the earth, for I am God, there is no other. By myself I swear, uttering my just decree and my unalterable word. To me every knee shall bend, and every tongue shall swear, saying, only in the Lord are just deeds and power. For thus says the Lord, the Creator of the heavens, who is God, the designer and maker of the earth, who established it, not creating it to be a waste, but designing it to be lived in. I am the Lord, there is no other. I have not spoken from hiding, nor from some dark place of the earth. Now it's all here in the Bible. It's another great little short one. Woe to him who contends with his Maker. And again from the 46th chapter. Remember this, and be firm. Bear it well in mind, you rebels. Remember the former things, those long ago. I am God, there is no other. I am God, there is none like me. At the beginning, I foretell the outcome. In advance, things not yet done. I say that my plan shall stand. I accomplish my every purpose. I call from the east a bird of prey, from a distant land, one to carry out my plan. Yes, I have spoken. I will accomplish it. I have planned it. I will do it. Listen to me, you faint-hearted. You who seem far from the victory of justice, I am bringing on my justice it is not far off. My salvation shall not tarry. I will put salvation within Zion and give to Israel my glory. And again, from the book of Revelation, chapter 12. A great sign appeared in the sky, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. On her head, a crown of 12 stars. She was with child and wailed aloud in pain as she labored to give birth. Then another sign appeared in the sky. It was a huge red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and on its heads were 7 diadems. Its tail swept away a third of the stars in the sky and hurled them down to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman about to give birth. Now, at the end of the 12th chapter, it's another interesting verse. Then the dragon became angry with the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep God's commandments and bear witness to Jesus. Now, a couple things about Mary's place in salvation history. There's some talk, obviously, from non-Catholics, and even Catholics who don't know a lot about their faith, about her position. The first thing to remember is Jesus is God, and He'll do whatever He feels like. It's His decision how He will use His mother in His plan, which is the plan of our Almighty Father. Because as Jesus said, the Father and I are one. They are in agreement. And as the Father has wanted to make His Son the path to Him, Jesus has chosen that His mother would not be the sole path, but that she would be the mediatrix of graces that He would spread upon the earth, and the co-redemptrix, and share in salvation history, just as was foretold by Simeon that her son would be a contradiction for the rise and fall of many in Israel, and that a sword would pierce her heart. And so it did, as she shared in His crucifixion. And so it has been established that Mary is the Queen of heaven and earth. Now let's read just a little bit of this army that she is building for these times. Now she's talking about this army of priests and laity that will join with them. I will form you to a great love for the Pope and for the Church, united to him. I will prepare you for a heroic witnessing to the gospel, which for some will be even to the shedding of their blood. And when the time comes, the movement will then go out into the open to fight openly that cohort which the devil, ever my adversary, is now forming for himself from among the priests. Certain decisive hours are drawing close. For the present, allow yourselves to be formed by me. Allow yourselves to be guided by me. Now, this was back in July of 1973. Now here's another one from the end of July in 73. These priest sons of mine, who have betrayed the gospel in order to second the great satanic error of Marxism. It is especially because of them that the chastisement of communism will soon come and will deprive everyone of all they possess. Times of great tribulation will unfold. Then it will be these poor sons of mine who will begin the great apostasy. Watch and pray, all of you priests who are faithful to me. Now this is back in July of 1973, and we see communism openly taking over here in America. I have that video talk where Corsi and Graham, Dr. Graham and Dr. Corsi, lay it out how communist China is being given our country. And we were sold out not just by Obama, because it's really the money changers. They are the ones who are on top. And an interesting number here about the money changers. Back in 1970, the 5 largest banks had 17% of the wealth. Today, it's over 50%. And I've seen numbers even higher. But let's go on now. Your mother is not to be studied. She is to be loved and lived. How little prayer is made. Holy Mass in the morning, a quick rosary in the evening, and nothing else. And all day long, chattering and more chattering. I will tell them through you, speaking of Father Gobbi and now us who promote his words, that to honor me, one must pray more and chatter less. I want the hearts and the souls of my sons, I want them to fill them with love for me, to stir up there the fire of enthusiasm, to throw open their souls, that they may receive many graces. I am Mother. I am rewarding their coming up here with extraordinary graces. And the most beautiful of these is that today everyone will be set afire with a great love for me. And this will happen by means of your word, O Son. Because Jesus wishes this to be. And so it will be. The priests of my movement must restore purity in souls and fight firmly against the demon of lust. In all its manifestations, they must combat styles that are more and more indecent and provocative. They must combat the press that publicizes evil and entertainment that ruins morals. They must struggle against the prevalent mentality that legitimizes and justifies everything, and against current morality that permits everything. Above all, my priests will have to be pure, very pure. I myself will cover them with my immaculate mantle, and I will make them new men, priests who are upright and spotless. This is still in 73, and look how far we've fallen since then, which is exactly what she said would happen. The spirit of rebellion against God has seduced humanity. Atheism has entered into so many souls and has completely extinguished the light of faith and love. This is the red dragon, spoken of in the Bible. Read it, my sons, because the present times are those of its realization. How many of my children are already victims of this error of Satan? Even among my priests, how many there are who no longer believe, and yet they still remain in my church, true wolves in sheep's clothing, and they are bringing to ruin a countless number of souls. Who has listened to my messages? Who has understood the meaning of my tears, of my motherly requests? Almost no one, but a few unknown souls, thanks to whom the chastisement has again been put off. I mean, we could have been squashed so many times, but there are untold souls that are fasting and praying that have been shortening this time, which we'll read more about that during this, but all of it will not be taken away. Or it's highly unlikely. I mean, I don't have a problem if it is, but it's highly unlikely. In fact, at the very moment when Satan will be enthroned as Lord of the world and will think himself now the sure victor, I myself will snatch the prey from his hands. In a trice he will find himself empty-handed. And in the end, the victory will be exclusively my son's and mine. This will be the triumph of my immaculate heart in the world, something which was spoken of in Fatima. For this is just a continuation of that. I will give them the gift of wisdom of heart, and they will understand me, the reason for all that concerns them, the reason for much of their lack of understanding, the reason for their sufferings, the reason for those times when they were abandoned, and even the reason for their falls. Well, let's take a look at one last thought from our mother on this before part 1 is done. It is necessary then that the mother speak to you and lead you by the hand. Her duty is above all that of guiding you in the struggle against the infernal dragon. And they now doubt everything. My poor children, the more you search for light by your own selves and through your own strength, the deeper you will plunge into darkness. You must return today to simplicity, to humility, to the confidence of little children in order to see God. For this, I myself am preparing this cohort, my priests, whom I will cause to become littler, ever littler, so that they may be filled with the light and the love of God. Humble, small, abandoned, and trusting. They will all let themselves be led by me. Their weak voice will one day be changed into a roar of a hurricane, and joining the victorious cry of the angels, it will resound in a powerful cry throughout the world. Who is like God? Who is like God? Then will come the conclusive defeat of the proud, and of my triumph, and that of my little children. Amen. So I would hope you would take a look if you want to see how this is going. I've got that hour-long documentary which just shows how it's physically taking place. But get yourself right with God. Develop, if you do not have already, develop a prayer life. Start reading the Bible, fasting, and check back. There'll be more now on a regular basis. And spread this out to everyone on your email list. Thank you, and have a good day.